السلام عليكم. اليوم بدنا نحكي بس على ال HealthPal project. So this HealthPal is a digital healthcare backend platform, and it is for communities to be able to use. And right now, here we're showing basically the wiki that we have created that explains mostly of what we used as like for example MySQL, and then we used Node.js, and then we also talked about more of the API's works and its endpoints, explaining each and every one, where you could see where we have explained the get, the post, there's also delete. And so this right here basically explains every single point, and how it is used, and even talks about the testing and error codes. That just a simple explanation, just in case if anyone opens this code and wants to know what each error code means. So let's open up here to the codes. Right here we have the full code, the full file, everything. We could see the swaggers files, the server file, packages file, all the data schema. Now let's go to the controllers. The controllers is right here, everything where these are going to be connected to the database, and they are really, really important, where we have looked at the important features that we had to add. We also have the configuration of the database right here. That's the file right there. And then we also have the usually the middleware, and then we have models, docs, all of these ones right here. So when we go to docs, usually it's going to have the wiki too, just in case. Here is the middleware, and then also we have the roots and the models. Right here, the roots is where we also are really important for connecting the URLs that are going to be able to let it work and connect with that Swagger too, so we can add those URLs and connect them with a Swagger or a Postman. Right here also, the tests we did, as we tried at first to do the test before we started doing the database. Okay. Now here we are going to have our VS Code. Right now we're opening on the application of the VS Code, where we have our codes, and we run this the server, where it says server running on port 5000. Right now we're going to open on Postman. And basically, Postman is where we do most of our testing and check is the controllers connected to our database, and is it working? And here is where we start trying out every single API and making sure how these databases are connecting to these Postman, from doing like fetching the data from that database or posting data in that database. And right here, my partner Mais is showing us how basically this is done, where she is adding every single part of, you know, the information for the register, which we are testing out right now. So I'm going to let her do that, and then we continue on with the explanation. Okay, right right now we will send, and then here underneath you could see there has occurred a problem. Usually sometimes it could be from the syntax, so making sure if the syntax is correct and nothing's wrong. So here, for example, we had the syntax where the full name we had triple L's instead of double L's, which that's okay, that usually happens. And so we're going to try that again. And then here we have it. We have a successful send or post. And right now it gave us the token. And the token is really important. This is because this token is where we were able to connect with the other parts of the APIs. And through this token, when we enter it, as Mace is going to show us right here and demonstrate, when we enter this token, when we have that API login, it will be able to fetch these kind of information from that kind of database, being able to show us, okay, this is basically the data that you asked for, or basically what we asked for, and so that's going to be done. And so right now she's trying it out, where she pasted right now the token that we have gotten from the register, and then she sends. And then right here it gave us a success, which is true, and then it said login is successful. Now we're gonna go to, we're gonna show you guys the database and how this database basically did it send that kind of information that we have entered, and did it show. We're gonna just add a few more things here and test out, and then we're gonna show you guys the database. Okay, so before we go ahead to the database and check everything's okay, here we checked for the book, the API book, which is appointments book. This is where we get the information. We also have to in Postman change what we want. Do we want the get, delete, or post, so on and so forth. And so right here, as you can see, we are retrieving these kind of information and changing these kind of URLs. And so usually when you take this URL also and post it on Explorer or Google or anywhere there, you will get, basically, since we're not doing a front end and it's mostly back end, but usually when you have these kind of URLs, it will show you the really clean and designed way of how the front end looks and how it's connected to the back end. Okay, now we're going to try the post appointments book. And then right here, again, the same idea as the register that we did, also the login. Mace is just going to be trying those out right now to check that is this sending and connecting to the database. And usually that's a case where when we do the posts, again, we will show you guys how the database is connected to these controllers and the roots and everything. Now, again, like said, the roots are for us to be able to have these kind of connections of the URLs when we post them, and those endpoints and APIs when we connect them to the, for example, Explorer or Google or wherever you want to put that URL and check, is this working or not? And like I said, that those URLs usually don't have right now a front end, so they don't look as pretty. They do just have the kind of schema, you can say, of each and every information that's connected to those database tables. And so right now, we have Mais, like I said, testing out the appointments book. And you could see here right now, it gave her true appointments booked successfully. And then it gave her pending, and then gave her all the information that she had entered. Now we are going to try to do the get for this kind of information and check, is this going to bring us the information or not. Okay, no worries. There is some kind of errors right now occurring, but also again, these kind of problems do happen, and so right now we are just checking and making sure, is this working or not. Okay, so we are going to go to the database and check if did it sign in, did it show our information that we have added. And so right now, Mace is gonna do select from appointments, and then we could see here we did add, we do have the information added in here, as we can see right now. Okay, so now we're gonna check the donations again. We're gonna check, is it posting into our database or not. Right now I'm just gonna leave you to see how Mace right here is working on every single API instead of me talking a lot and explaining all of this. But like I said, it's going to be mostly the same for each and every one. Just the difference of what it is asking. So basically, if it says get, that's where it gets that information from the database. When it says post, that's where it posts that kind of information and adds it to that database. And then we have delete. For example, that's where you delete these kind of informations. Okay, so right here we're gonna open our Swagger. And the Swagger right here is basically also the same idea of Postman, but we wanted to show Swagger in a way that, okay, is it working? And we're gonna show also our homepage how it says HealthPal API is running, and that is also where our front end would usually work. But since this is not a front end project and it is a back end project, we did not do that front end. Since also due to like limited time for this project. Here we have the schemas for each and every thing that we have created. For example, the medicine responses, medicine requests, medicine questions, all of those lists, and every time you hit that arrow, it shows you that kind of schema expanded. Here we have also the features that we have created, which are the external API, inventory, equipment, health, education, donations, appointments, medicine, and each one is what kind of endpoints and APIs that we have used. It shows you, again, the schema for it, the example, and then here when we do or click on try it out, it does show us basically, or let us change into this data and add what we want. So again, it is very similar to Postman, but here it is, instead of opening it on a regular kind of application from your desktop, here you can open it on Internet Explorer or like Safari, or basically any kind of network, or like Google or anything like that, that you can add or paste the your URL. And so Swagger is basically that right now. And so we have Mace right now changing into that and executing it, where she is going to post this kind of information. Is she gonna post? Yeah. Okay, so she's going to post here. And then she just hits execute. And so if we scroll down, it gave us 200 for the code. 200 means it is successful, and the success is true. Right here above, you can see the request URL. Usually when you copy that and post it in there, it will give you a really like boring text or schema of the code, or what you want to retrieve, or what you want to basically post or posted. You do the same idea with try out, and then execute and write what you want to get. Okay, so now here we are going to post the local host 5,000 medicine requests. This is where we got it from our Swagger UI, and where it is to get. And so it did get us and retrieve the information, and that went to the database and retrieved it for us. And so this is very similar to Postman, but instead we are using URLs. Okay, so here we are opening our databases and just showing you guys how these databases are connected, and it was actually adding every single kind of information that we were adding from Postman or Swagger.